Hey everyone, it's Kristen. So, I found these in my closet, which I've had for a really long time. They're actually cardboard. Um, because I tried, to kind of make a background so it wasn't so, busy behind me or so bland. Anyway, I found these in my closet. Um, because I tried hanging the towel and the sheet, and Dazzler just like immediately pulled them down. So, and someone suggested I could just put her, in the hallway while I'm doing videos, but I thought that was kind of sad because then she would never join us for videos again, which, like I said, that'd be kind of sad if she never joined. Oh, look, I think she heard us talking about her. There she is. So anyway, I found these cardboard pieces in my closet and thought, well, that is something at least, something, superhero related to kind of hide all the stuff in the cabinet. Okay. Are you gonna lay down? Yeah, maybe. Okay. They don't want to see like 2 minutes of that. Here. There you go. Look. Yeah, see? Yeah. Go ahead and lay down. Anyway, while she's deciding, we had a huge storm here today earlier. I mean, huge. The thunder at some point shook the house, and this is probably the first major storm Dazzler's been through. And she was so scared she hid under the couch. I didn't even know she could get under the couch again. And she hid there for hours. I'm glad she finally came out and she's okay, but I was worried about her because she was really scared. And I will admit it was scary. I did jump a couple times because it was so loud. And like I said, it shook the house. So anyway, Dazzler's still trying to make up her mind whether she's gonna lay down or not. So anyway, so for yesterday, we have the Wasp, and no, I'm not holding it upside down. She is laying like that. And I feel like this is one of the few times when she turned ginormous because you can see the little car up there. And I've already talked about her recently extensively. So if you want to know more about her, I think I'll just link that video in the description for this video because I already basically kind of told you her whole life story, so to speak. Um, oh, she's leaving. And for today, we have a stat card, my favorite, for Kraven the Hunter. So, oh, and I happen to be wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt. I know this looks like it's super faded, but actually it was like this when I bought it. I'm not sure why, but pretty much almost any like Marvel merchandise or superhero merchandise, especially t-shirts, I'll buy because if if it well, I will say I bought some men's because I thought the design was cool, but of course they don't fit the same way that a women's t-shirt would. So anyway, but yeah, I thought it was cool, even though it's like looks like it's super faded, but that's what it was meant to be like. I don't know the reasoning behind that. I didn't ask. I just bought it. So the cool thing is they already gave us the Spider-Man stat card. So we're going to compare these two. So for Kraven, and I already did, basically, because he had a stamp in the stamp series calendar. I already did a whole video with his backstory too. So I'll link that in the comments, in the description also. So, Kraven the Hunter, first appearance of Spider-Man 15. Amazing Spider-Man 15. In 64. So, for him, intelligence is 3, and Peter's is 4. Strength 4, Speed for him is 3. Speed for Spider-Man is 3. Durability is 3. Spider-Man's durability is 3. Energy is 1. Spider-Man's energy, of course, is 1. Um, his skills, because that's his whole persona, his whole thing is being a hunter. His skills are 6 and Spider-Man's are 4. So they are pretty evenly matched until you get to skills. So that's interesting. I mean, obviously, Peter has beaten him many, many times, but it's still interesting. It still is an interesting matchup because they're so kind of, according to these stats, evenly matched. So for this one today, like, honestly, I don't know very much about this guy, the Golem. And that makes me think, of course, of Golem from Lord of the Rings. Anytime I hear Golem. And it's also a character in one of my favorite books. It's a sci-fi book, and now I can't think of the title. But the main character, has a golem, like this huge golem for a friend. It has not an android, but kind of like an android girlfriend. And I remember one of the passages is she's eating, but she doesn't need to eat because she's not like a real human. So she eats and basically pretends she's eating because no one needs to know that she's, an android, not human. She eats and like she's eating a salad and she eats it and it goes right through her and basically stays exactly the way it is. So she gives it to him later to eat. Because it's exactly, it's like all she did was, put it down in her mouth and put it down a tube and it just sits right there in her stomach like that. Anyway, weird book, but it's interesting. Now I'll have to, like I said, I haven't read in a while and I forgot the title. So now I'll have to try to see where I put it and dig it up again. And if you guys probably don't know what book I'm talking about. I think it's kind of maybe obscure because, anyway, regardless, sorry. Golem. So this stamp it can be found in Incredible Hulk number 182, right, just one issue after Wolverine was introduced, December of 74. Also appears in Frankenstein number 12, September of 74. And this stamp appears in Strange Tales number 174, which is actually the Golem's first appearance. And that's June of 74. Art by Bill Kane and Unknown. Upper left corner art by Unknown. That's interesting. So, Strange Tales featuring the Golem, the thing that walks like a man. New and sensational from Marvel. Gunfire tanks. Nothing will stop him. Is he man or monster? For centuries, he has waited. Now he attacks. So there you go. So they actually used the corner art for this one. So see, there it is. And then there's the art like way up there in the corner. That's what they used for the stamp. So as I understand it, the Golem, he was built by a 16th century Jewish scholar and mystic out of purple clay and stone to protect the Jewish people in Prague. And there have been 2 other incarnations of him. I think one in, I want to say 1977, and one more recently, more recently. I think like early 2000s maybe, he was a member of Nick Fury's Howling Commandos, but okay, if you guys have been following my Dazzler series, it's like the Blue Shield. They kind of created him for Dazzler, used him in Dazzler, used him again in a later issue, and then he appeared maybe in like 2 or 3 issues later at other various times. That's pretty much what the Golem is equated to. Like another character that we've talked about, if you followed that series, that we talked about recently, is the Blue Shield, because it's basically a character they created and then kind of never really used again. It didn't become popular. It wasn't utilized. They didn't kind of try to make it popular. It's interesting though, because this character must have been, I would say, fairly popular for it to get a stamp. But then again, maybe they gave it a stamp to try to get people interested in it. Because, of course, introducing new characters in huge books like, Spider-Man or X-Men or whatever, people are already reading Spider-Man and X-Men, and then you're introducing new characters with the goal of hoping that they'll take off and then they'll get their own book, and then you'll get people to buy Spider-Man and the new characters book. I mean, I guess that's how I see it. So anyway, I mean, honestly, that's it for today. There, like I said, wasn't much to talk about with the Stamp series character and Kraven the Hunter and Wasp. I've already done one video where I extensively talked about them, and Dazzler made an appearance. So, like, how can it get any better than that? So I hope you will join me in the future for more videos and tell me like what you think about like the backdrop I made up. I mean, it's not a real backdrop would of course cover this whole area behind me, but like I said, I've tried to hang a sheet and Dazzler just tears it down. And if I put her away during my videos, then she'll never be in another video, which to me is kind of sad. So I think this works pretty well. I mean, it's at least something. So anyway, I will keep using that for now and try to come up with something else. So I hope you will join me again. And until next time, bye.